Welcome to the Quarter Dollar YouTube channel, where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures. You may have heard stories of people finding fortune in pocket change, but today, you're going to hear the truth. We're diving deep into 5 Washington quarters that could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Yes, including one coin that recently sold for over $300,000. That's not a myth. That's not a fantasy. That's a quarter dollar, sitting somewhere, possibly even in your own home. So take a moment. Check your pockets. Look in that old coffee can. Because by the end of this video, you might just realize you're holding a piece of history. And now, let's get started. At first glance, the 1989 P. Washington quarter looks completely ordinary. You've seen it 100 times, maybe 1,000. It's the kind of coin you might toss into a vending machine, drop in your car's cup holder, or find at the bottom of a laundry basket. Nothing about it screams rare. Nothing suggests it could be valuable. But that's exactly what makes it so dangerous to overlook. You see, in the world of coin collecting, it's often not the rarest year that matters, it's the rarest mistake. And with the 1989 P quarter, those mistakes were subtle but game-changing. Minted in Philadelphia, but not all were created equal. Let's start with some basics. The P in 1989 P refers to the Philadelphia Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year. On paper, that would make this coin incredibly common. And for the average example, yes, it's worth 25 cents. No more, no less. But some of these coins were struck with critical minting errors. The kind of errors that take a coin from pocket change to auction block treasure. 2 errors, in particular, have collectors buzzing: off-center strikes and the elusive but thrilling double die obverse. Magnifying glass tilted left the off-center strike, the coin that wasn't aligned with fate. Let's talk about the off-center strike. During the minting process, a coin blank, called a planchet, is fed into the striking chamber between 2 dies. Ideally, the planchet should sit perfectly centered before being struck. But sometimes, due to mechanical issues or feed errors, the planchet shifts slightly. The result? A coin where the design appears misaligned, off-center, with part of the image missing or sliding dangerously close to the edge. Play button. The degree of misalignment affects the value. A minor 5% off-center strike may bring in a modest premium, maybe $30 to $50. But coins struck 15%, 25%, or even 50% off-center can fetch several $100s. One particularly dramatic 1989 P example, struck nearly 40% off-center with a visible date and mint mark, sold for $2,400 at auction. Yes, more than $2,000, for a quarter. And what's wild? These off-center quarters can still look eerily similar to normal coins when casually glanced at. Especially those with slight misalignments, which are often the ones found in circulation. The double die obverse, when the coin doubled in value, literally. But now, let's step into the realm of double die errors. This is where things get really interesting. A double die occurs during the production of the coin die itself. The die, the metal stamp that impresses the coin's design, is supposed to be struck once by a hub. But sometimes, the die shifts slightly during the hubbing process, resulting in a doubling of the design. This doubling is then transferred to every coin that die produces. On the 1989 P quarter, collectors have documented several examples of the double die obverse, with clear doubling on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and even the date. Under magnification, the doubling is undeniable. It's not just wear and tear or shadows, it's a separate imprint, usually offset slightly, that gives the text and numbers a ghost-like echo. And the prices? Well, these aren't coins you'll find at every flea market. They're extremely rare. But one example in mint state condition, MS65 and above, has fetched $1,800 at a private sale, and others have broken the $2,000 mark. The higher the grade, and the more dramatic the doubling, the higher the value climbs. Movie camera, what makes these errors so valuable? Let's pause and unpack why these errors make such a difference. They're unintentional. The US Mint doesn't design coins this way. These are factory mistakes, little accidents that slip through quality control. They're scarce. Not all 1989 P quarters have these issues. Most were struck properly. That's why the flawed ones are so rare, and why collectors chase them. they're visually unique. In the world of coins, visual impact matters. The more visible the error, the more desirable it is. They're traceable. Numismatists can authenticate these coins by die variety, pattern, and wear. They're not just flukes, they're part of the mint's historical footprint. Brain identifying an error 1989 P. What to look for. So, if you're holding a 1989 P quarter right now, here's what to check. Examine alignment. Is the design centered? Does Washington's head look off to one side? Is part of the rim missing? Check for doubling. Under good lighting, and ideally with a magnifying glass or loupe, inspect the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Are there double lines? Shadows? Echoed text? Inspect the date. Look for any ghosting or separation between numbers. Even the smallest variation could be worth investigating. Weigh it. A normal quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is underweight or overweight, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet, another valuable error type. Receipt the grading game. Why condition is everything. Even if your 1989 P quarter has one of these minting flaws, its condition plays a huge role in its value. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale. A coin graded MS60, mint state, is uncirculated but may have minor flaws. An MS65 is considered gem quality. The Holy Grail is MS67 or higher, where the coin is nearly flawless under magnification. An error coin in MS63 might fetch a few $100s. That same coin in MS67. Easily 2 to 3 times the price. If you suspect you have a valuable 1989 P, it's often worth submitting it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication boosts value and gives buyers confidence. Compass a coin worth hunting for. And so the 1989 P quarter, hiding in plain sight, has become something of a legend among coin collectors. A sleeper coin. A stealthy treasure. It was never supposed to be rare. But because of human error, flawed dies, misaligned planchets, moments of inattention at the mint, it now carries a story far richer than. Next up, the 1978 D, minted in Denver. This quarter is a textbook example of how quality control slip-ups can create collectible legends. Now here's where it gets interesting. There have been rare finds of overstruck quarters and planchet errors from this year. Some 1978 D quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for nickels or foreign coins, making them rare mint anomalies. Play button, visuals, side by side of a normal quarter and one struck on a nickel planchet. One such error coin recently sold for $1,500, all because it was slightly smaller, weighed less, and had a silvery sheen that made collectors' jaws drop. The 1985 D quarter hides one of the strangest minting issues ever recorded. While most of these coins are common, a few were found with a missing mint mark, or even more intriguingly, a ghost D, barely visible under magnification. Play button, visuals, close-up of ghost D mint mark fading into the coin's surface. This type of strike error is known as a filled die error, and it occurs when debris blocks part of the mint mark during striking. Coin collectors drool over these coins because they're visually subtle but provably authentic. One such 1985 D quarter sold for over $700, and it looked nearly identical to every other quarter, until you looked very closely. In 1990, the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters, but a small number of them were struck without the usual P mint mark. This mistake occurred due to a worn or filled die, which prevented the P from being impressed onto the coin during production. While the absence of the mint mark was not intentional, it has since turned these particular quarters into rare collectibles. Normally, U.S. quarters minted in Philadelphia carry the P mint mark to identify their origin. However, the error coins, which were struck without this mark, have become highly sought after by collectors due to their rarity. The error is extremely hard to spot unless you are specifically looking for it. This makes it all the more exciting for those who happen to find one in their pocket change. The first clue to identifying a no mint mark 1990 quarter is to examine the coin closely. Flip the quarter over and look directly beneath the motto, "In God We Trust." In a typical 1990 quarter, you'll find the P mint mark just above the word quarter. In the rare error coins, however, this mint mark is missing entirely, leaving a blank space where it would normally appear. If you find one of these rare no mint mark quarters, especially in uncirculated condition, it can be worth a significant amount of money. Some of these coins have been known to sell for up to $3,500, depending on their condition and the grading given by professional services such as PCGS or NGC. Coins that are graded as MS 65 or higher, meaning they show minimal signs of wear and have excellent detail, tend to command the highest prices. For collectors, finding a 1990 quarter without the P mint mark is a thrilling discovery. It's not just the rarity that makes these coins valuable, but the story behind them. They are a tangible example of how even a small mistake during the minting process can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a highly coveted item. Despite being a mistake, the no mint mark 1990 quarter has earned its place in numismatic history. While these error coins are rare, they do surface from time to time in the hands of lucky finders. So if you happen to have a 1990 quarter in your pocket or coin jar, it might be worth checking for the missing mint mark before spending it. You just might be holding onto a valuable piece of history. And now, for the holy grail of Washington quarters. The 1969 quarter is already a vintage coin, but if it was struck with a double die obverse, it can be worth a staggering amount of money. We're talking six figures. One such coin, with clear doubling on the date and the word Liberty, sold for over $350,000 at auction. Extreme close-up showing doubled, 1969, and Liberty. Only a handful of these are known to exist. They were likely the result of a rare die error during production, and they're now among the most hunted coins in U.S. history. So next time you're flipping through your change, stop. Look. Because that humble 1969 quarter could change your life. From ghostly mint marks to six-figure treasures, these quarters remind us that history and mystery can live right in your pocket. So the next time you're handed a quarter, look closely. What seems ordinary might just be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Speech Balloon, let us know in the comments if you found any weird coins lately. Or if you're heading to your coin jar right now. Thumbs up, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because here on Quarter Dollar, we're always searching for the next hidden treasure. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next quarter be your golden ticket. Would you like a downloadable text version or subtitles format for uploading? Or should I help create voiceover timing or visual cue suggestions next?